All right, all right. Okay. This is cutting into my movie time, big time. Hello, it is High Priestess Jamila, and I gotta come and have a conversation with you guys tonight. And I'm just gonna be as honest as possible, and I'm gonna be very transparent about the situation. And then, especially, this will be extremely helpful and useful information for clients and just for people in general. Okay. So I wanted to talk about the tug of war between good and evil and God and the devil and all of that crazy, all that jazz. And I want to talk about it from a witch's perspective. Okay. Um, I know this is going to sound very sacrilegious, especially on Christmas. And a lot of people are probably going to throw some hate at me. I don't care. I don't feel hate anymore. Um, Here's my thing about it: people wanting to practice witchcraft and wanting to stay in this safe place. And when it's obvious that on neither side of the coin, because there's nature and then there's religion and then there's witchcraft, and nature and religion, they jive together really, really good to a fault. It is the prevalence of people feeling better about wanting psychic readings but then reading out of the Bible. And for me, this is something that, for my own personal practice, I do not believe in that. I do not believe in that. In fact, I think it can be very dangerous. In fact, I think that if you are someone that comes from my perspective, for example, I'm completely and totally independently out here on my own. Okay. And so I can speak from a perspective of not having, you know, anything to fall back on. And I think that that's very important, because a lot of the times when you have like the government to fall back on, or even sometimes your parents to fall back on, and maybe their money, it's very, very easy to come from a different perspective religiously. And then, especially if you're looking at witchcraft, otherwise, there's no need for you to debate about it. There's no need for people to have an opinion about something that they know nothing about. Right. So, for example, okay. So, for example, people, um, again, wanting to stay in this safe place and mix witchcraft with religion and Christianity. Specifically Christianity, I can't really speak on anything like the Quran. I can't really, so I'm not at liberty to speak on those things. But what drives me absolutely bonkers is people wanting witches to accept a Messiah as their Lord and Savior, when so many of us don't necessarily have that relationship with any gods. I mean, a god or a spirit or even a demon can help you out a lot in our practices. In fact, I don't ever feel, ever, that the spirits and entities that I work with are doing it for me. Rather, I feel that 90% of the time they are guiding me. In particular, if you are a witch, they're guiding you with your rituals, with your spells, and they may even provide you with access. Now, I do believe that they will start to gatekeep when certain things start to happen. Um, for example, the biggest reason why I can't mix Christianity with witchcraft is because it solely states in the Bible that God of the Bible hates witches, wants us put to death, wants our children stoned to death. So it would make no sense for me to be under that God. It makes no sense to me. Okay. But then on the flip side of the coin, it says that you're a sinner, we're all sinners, and that Jesus Christ is going to forgive you. Okay, fine, fine. Well, if Jesus Christ is going to forgive everybody and be forgiving, then why would I have to be under that doctrine to begin with? It's very obvious why witches work with what they call the dark side. It's obvious why. And mainly, it has a lot to do with religious and spiritual freedom, has a lot to do with that. And so it makes no sense to me to feel the need to hold on to that trauma, because for me as a witch, even though I wasn't forced to go to church when I was a kid, I wasn't like raised in the church per se. It wasn't shoved down my throat. It wasn't. Okay, I will admit to that. However, there were times of trauma, and that was enough. As a witch, it was very traumatic for me going through that religious judgment and just making that connection, even as a kid, a young empath, and saying, oh, no, 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 this is not for me. And when you think about a lot of people, they're like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And so, yeah, I have connected with Jesus Christ a lot my entire life. But when I think about the energy and what I get from Jesus Christ, I can get the same thing from Clonic. I can get the same thing from Satan. It's just my honest opinion. I'm just being real about this. And so I think that where you can tend to get in trouble is when there's this tug of war. There's literally this tug of war to where you're being yanked in many, many, many different directions. And I feel like it's important to pick a side. Do I feel that as a witch born with the mark of the fucking beast that I'm going to hell no matter what I do? Absolutely. Do I feel like I'm going to be burning in hell and suffering? No, I don't. Some people would argue that this is hell. Some people would argue that hell doesn't exist. I'm not here to debate that. Um, what I'm saying is that for me, it makes no sense. This is one of the reasons why the past couple of years I haven't celebrated, quote unquote, celebrated Christmas as I traditionally did. In fact, Yule starts on the 21st, and it's all a celebration up until January the 1st of the new year, because we're celebrating Yule. And so the spirit and the energy behind this date that was created where, um, Jesus was born, right? There's a lot of emphasis, there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of pain and agony behind not meeting this deadline. And you're a bad parent, you're a bad person, you're a sinner, you're damned by God. And yes, I am, and I'm proud of it, whatever. If you don't wake up on December the 25th and have eggnog and Christmas gifts to open, knowing that every single year, like every single year, it's usually done before or shortly after that. And the vibe that I get from a lot of Christians is that they are looking at us like, well, you don't deserve this. And it's like, well, I deserve more than this. Thank you. And I'm going to get more than this. Thank you. But it's almost like it's a competition thing. It's not even in the spirit or the joy of Yule. It's like somewhere that got lost. And I think that that right there is what really truly disconnects you from the magic. Because when I woke up this morning, I got to tell y'all about this now. I got to get deep into this. I was actually up well past the witching hour until like probably, I think I went to sleep somewhere between 7 and 8. And it was literally, I was feeling some type of way. And honestly, I felt like as a witch, a lot of the energies that are already there for me, which have nothing to do with religion, including things that were inside of me, I felt energy harvested. I felt like somebody was parasiting my energy. I felt like people were trying to use the fact that I don't have a husband, or I guess the man that I love is with another woman or whatever, and I felt like that within itself was being used. I felt like he was trying to use it to try to teach me some fucking stupid lesson when he could just be a friend to me and actually love me, which is better, which is always better. And so probably around somewhere between 7:30, I finally figured out how to shut that down completely. And then I was able to fall asleep, and I woke up this morning and I felt so much peace. I felt the peace of Yule. I did. That was my initial reaction when I woke up. Now, what was in the air was something totally different. What is essentially to me a stain on YouTube. And I did address it this morning. I did. I addressed it. Okay. And I know that it's going to be like this tug of war, this back and forth. Well, I am not, of course. Like, why is this goodness? See, this is the problem with people. People want to be heard, but they don't want to listen. People want to be heard, but they don't want to listen. People want to be heard, but they don't want to listen, y'all. I'm being interrupted right now during my live, which I think is very disrespectful, but whatever. The energy. Goodness gracious, just tight and pressed about everything. Nobody. That's the one thing that I don't like about the whole concept of religion, is that you're not actually ever allowed to speak about things openly, when I always have allowed people to express themselves, even if they were being disgusting towards me, even if they were trying to hurt my feelings. I still allow people to say whatever they need to say, and I move on. Those are things that I don't just grab my curse stick and start cursing people for. The moment try to touch my children, or you try to harm me physically, psychologically, then that's when I'll strike back and send your energy back. I think it's important for people to be able to discuss how they feel. What's the problem with that? Does the truth, why does other people's feelings, which is the truth, why can't we discuss this openly? Why? Is it because you care about what people think of you? Well, people already think negatively of you. They can see what you're doing. What do you think, that you're hiding behind some kind of cloak or something? People saw the things that you did. This is what again, this is kind of, that's why I don't like cults and groups and stuff, because it's kind of like, okay, chill out, relax, but let's keep it a buck. People saw what you did. You did it out in the open. So if you did what you did out in the open, why can't we discuss it openly? And why do you think that people, that everybody in the world agrees with you, and do you really believe that? That the whole world is okay, like they would just agree with you? No. And so that's the whole thing about being open minded. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand that outside of your circle, there are people that are not going to agree with what you did. There are people that are going to oppose what, just like I have to deal with it. We all have to deal with that. We all have to deal with adversity. You can't just say, oh, hey, I can't handle this person saying what they're saying. Just expressing what I know. I'm sorry if you don't realize how parasitic you are, how you try to trap people, how you want to use the power of the witches, and you want to separate us witches from our power. You want to do that. Why? That's a huge question. That's what you were trying to do. You wanted to starve us out. You wanted to punish us based upon your false God. Your God is false to me, and obviously false to you, because why do you feel the need to feed off of us witches? You don't want us to have peace. You already got that, right? You took away our peace for a time being. Can we coexist? Is that okay for us to coexist? That's all I'm saying. I mean, it's not going to change how I feel. You're never going to change me. That's what I wish that religious people would just accept. Religious males, you're not going to be able to change it. You're throwing negative energy at women. You're horrible. Stop throwing negative energy at women. Stop setting an intention to throw negative energy at women and witches, and go argue with other men about that. Go have a religious debate with another man, because as far as I'm concerned, that religion was created for men, by men, and for men. The woman had no actual input into that. Otherwise, if she did, she would have wrote a better role for herself in that book. Then you wonder why witches start bringing out our flames of hell. You're trying to use the knowledge and the gifts that the woman has given to you, and you're trying to harm us, and at the same time saying, you don't use that knowledge. Let me use it in addition to what my God told me to do. So there's psychic powers being used against us. Trust me, I can feel it. Okay, when you're throwing your daggers, when you're meditating, when you're doing what you're doing. So again, you're mixing it. Pick a side, hun. Pick a side. I'm sorry you're broken inside. You know, there could be many, many, many different reasons for you feeling that way. Let me get back to my discussion before I was rudely interrupted, and I'll talk to you in a second, okay? Last night I was in a tug of war over my energy. I had the weirdest dream last night. The weirdest dream. And dreams are good because it showed me somebody that was able to get past my wards. And so now I have to make sure that I specify that this specific person cannot get past my wards. And that's pretty much all I have to do. Okay. I woke up feeling peaceful, but then I heard people talking about me, discussing me. I'm so sensitive that I can even sense people thinking about me. That's how sensitive I am. If I'm on your mind, I can sense it. If you're thinking about me, I can sense it. Okay. Even if you've never even spoken to me, I know. I'm a mind reader. It sucks sometimes. It really, really does. I can see what you're doing. I can see what you're thinking. I can see what you're doing with your mind. I can see all of that. So, it's really strange. There's this movie with, oh God, I can't, it was about an empath and she ends up turning into like atoms and stuff. And that movie scared the crap out of me. I'll have to tell you about that movie later. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm rambling, guys. I think most of us witches struggle with the whole concept of not being a devil worshiper or not worshiping Satan. And I think it's a hurdle that a lot of us have to get out of. I'm going to be honest with you. Whether or not you want to call him the green god, the earth god, the way religious folks looks at it is that it's the devil. Whether or not you want to call him Sir Nonos, the earth mother, Gaia, Lilith, you know, Hecate, the green man, the green goddess. Okay. It's all the devil. I remember having an experience, which was the first time I ever had a conversation with Satan. And that's when I realized that I am a daughter of Satan. Like, literally, he regards me as his child. And I'm okay with that because all I get from the Christian God is hate. I think this is a rite of passage that many of us witches go through. Does it make us bad people? No. Does it make us dangerous? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. To be honest with you, from what I can see, the devil ain't causing half of the stench that those biblical gods are creating. Okay? The devil is the scapegoat. Satan is the scapegoat. Okay? So that's just what that is to me. From what I have seen, I don't feel love. It's been set up like that by design so that it could be a message for me that I'll never forget. That religion is all about abuse, pain, suffering, fear, and it's something that I don't want to be a part of. Okay. Does that mean that I'm this dangerous, evil person? No. I love people. I love love. I love freedom. And hold on a second, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to take care of something real quick. So, here's what I want to say to clients, and I think this is really important. Um, it does not serve you for your witch to not be familiar with the dark side, with Hecate. Okay, it doesn't serve you at all for us to not have that relationship, for us to feel like we have to stay in that safe place. Does that mean that you have to be involved? No, that doesn't mean that. You can become involved if that's what you want, but you don't have to. Okay. So that's something that you typically don't have to worry about. Now, if you want to learn the craft, yes, a lot of us witches can definitely teach you. And we can teach you from both sides. Okay. I can't really teach Christian witchcraft. I don't teach that. But you can learn a non demonic way of practicing. The problem is that once you do start practicing yourself, you're going to find that you do have to commune at some point with these dark energies. It just is what it is. You just can't be afraid of the dark. And so it just is what it is. Okay. So I don't know why I feel like somebody doesn't want me to get out this message. So you don't have to be a devil worshiper. In fact, that's the whole point of witches doing the work for you. So that's something that in your mind as a client, not that I'm having this issue with any of my clients, but I do think that it's a struggle. It's a struggle of letting go, because you've struggled for so long and you've done all these prayers and you've prayed and you've prayed and you've prayed. And a lot of you haven't gotten what you want. So then that's when you'll say, well, let's be on the safe side. Let's get some incense. Let's get some candles. Let's get some oils. Okay. But the Bible forbids that. Any kind of use of candles and fire to manifest what you want. You are only supposed to burn those candles basically to honor your God. Okay. So, it just is what it is. And so when it comes to client relationship, this is primarily the reason why, when you come to me, I'm not going to say, well, do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? I'm not going to say that to you because that's not I'm a witch. That would be ridiculous for me to say that to you. It would be totally ridiculous. And I think the danger comes from mixing it. And I think that people are mixing it. The people that are mixing it together, they're creating that conflict within spirit. They are creating it. And so, there's a black lady. Her name is Valerie Love. She believes in Christian witchcraft. Okay. And I'm not saying whether or not she's right or wrong. I kind of oppose to it. And I think that it creates a constant struggle within yourself. I mean, if you feel the need to stay constricted within that, then here's the thing about it. Think of it this way. According to the Bible, y'all going to hell anyway because only 144,000 will be saved. Will they say will be saved? So, however you want to look at that. My whole point of it is when it comes to clients, that's why we're doing the work for you. And I even tell people, hey, when I'm manifesting this for you, don't do anything. There's no need for you to light a candle. There's no need for you to say a prayer for it on Sunday. In fact, that's going to create conflict. That's going to create conflict. Does that mean that what you manifest is cursed? Well, no, right? So let's just put it like this. Here's the way I look at religion. I'm sorry, I have to keep it real with y'all. I feel like when we bring up religion, those spirits are very real and they can be conjured. But I also feel that those are spirits from the past. Okay. So that's just my opinion. Okay. And everybody has the right to their opinion. Everybody does. Okay. Stop trying to take away people's right to their own mind. I'm not trying to change any Christian's mind about it. I'm not. If you think that, you're wrong. That's not what I'm trying to do. You have the right to feel however you want to feel. But I'm just saying, for me, that's how I feel. You know? You know what I mean? Thank you. Oh, so, quite frankly, you know, um, whenever you hear witches talking about the crossroads and things of that nature, that has a lot to do with what I'm talking about. And I just don't see the point or the purpose in lying to people. Okay. And I just don't see the purpose of being disrespectful. Like, for example, if I were to banish a spirit that you all maybe don't like, okay, sometimes and most of the time we're doing it respectfully, especially if you're coming at an entity like, Andrew Malleus or somebody like that. vapor, we're going to ask that spirit if it is an issue to respectfully, you know. And so I think that if it's something that you don't understand, you don't have to fear it, especially if you don't understand it. The problem where it comes in is the negative energy, the pulse, the pulsation of the fear, and how it is being projected to us witches in the most diabolical way when we are the ones that have a greater understanding of it. Okay, we do have an understanding of that. Whether or not you agree with it or not, we have our understanding of it. And it's not our problem when random people get bent out of shape about it. Oh, that pepper. So I just think it would create less struggle, and I'm just not having it. I don't like that feeling of that struggle, that inner conflict. I don't like it. And that is essentially what a witch would be sending back to you, would be returning to you, is that spirit of fear and feeling undeserving and feeling like crap and feeling like you have to feel low about yourself and feeling hated. Because I'm sorry, to me, what it sounds like to me is that it feels like a bunch of hate to me. It does. And it doesn't matter if we say, well, those are just those particular Christians, and those are not real Christians. Christians are actually all loving. But if we all remember the that family of Christians, and they would go around and say God hates babies, God hates. Remember though, I can't think of their names. They haven't been in the news in a while. Experiencing the raw craft, and then the type of men who are constantly on this damn crusade. Oh my God, it's awful. I think that for the witches to transmute that is very important though, because then it gets you closer to your magic, and it should. So, that's just it. I don't know why I'm feeling all stuffy. And honestly, when Christians say, oh, we're trying to save your soul, that's not what it feels like. That's not what our intuition is telling us at all. Okay. It's not. It doesn't feel peaceful. It doesn't feel loving. It doesn't feel like a place where we want to be. I'm not speaking for every witch, because I guess some witches like that whole masochism thing, you know, which is they like pain, or agony, malaise, oh, I guess. I don't. I like being happy and jovial. I like getting along with people just for the sake of getting along. That's what I like. Okay? That's what I like. I don't like that other stuff. So, So that's just that. And, the feeling that I got, like, I really, honestly, I'm very, very resentful of all of the people that want me to not be okay with who I am just simply because they want to control me. And it's like a weird perversion. It's not to save my soul, it's to eat my soul, it's to use certain spirits to do their bidding. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry, Ramesh Nish. I'm sorry, hun. Like, it kind of sometimes, I mean, this is a very important topic. It's not like it's some kind of sexual kink or play in the bedroom. Like, to me, I mean, it seems like you're talking to me about BDSM, but I think that for me, what it's turning into is like a weird, off-putting pedophilia thing. Honestly, it is what that vibe started giving me with the whole BDSM thing. You know what I mean? He whipped you. Okay. Um, yeah, no. Unless that's something that you're into. And the energy that I'm getting from you is not good. In fact, it's making me want to block you because I kind of feel like you up to something. Because you're the only person chatting, and the energy kind of, or maybe it's your boyfriend's energy that's kind of toxic. Mm. Well, that sucks. Maybe you should break up with him. You know, I kind of don't like the conversation that you're having with me because it's kind of throwing off the discussion. I feel like you're trying to derail my conversation with this energy as if, I'm sorry, honey, but men will respect you more when you put your foot down. Okay? They will. They respect you more. Men don't respect a woman that they can just boss around. They claim that that's what they want, but no man actually really wants that. Okay? I'm just telling you. They don't actually really want that. So, in fact, why would it even be a factor? Who lives like that? Do people actually live like that? Oh, God. I couldn't imagine being in a relationship with a man where there was literally this constant battle of the sexes. I would leave his ass. But that's not what we're talking about. Surely us women can have discussions, especially such as this. We're talking about the craft. We're talking about the divine feminine, her power. Surely you would have an understanding as to how, a man shouldn't even come up in that. I'm really primarily having this conversation for women and maybe men too. There are a lot of men that feel negatively affected by patriarchy. So I don't know. But I just, yeah, I'm not abusing you. How am I abusing you? You're trolling me. How is that abusing you? I'm just telling my opinion of what you're saying. I'm saying to you that you shouldn't take that abuse. How is that abusing you? You're trolling me, hon, clearly. You're clearly trolling me. And who's your cousin? Okay, let me make this easy for you, hon. Bye. Sorry, guys, that was a troll. Energy was just totally bad. I'm sorry, hon. You had to go. Okay. Come back under another troll account. My whole thing is this though, guys. Seriously. I think it depends on the situation. I think it depends on who you are. For me, it was a large part of my practice to go deep into the bowels of hell. Is it a requirement for all witches? Probably not. But do I feel that witches can ever be in this safety zone of religion? No. And I don't feel that I just don't feel that you should cause that struggle within yourself. Why cause that struggle within yourself is all I'm saying. And then also another thing, has it really actually made your life more stable? Has it really given you that security that you're after, which is something that you should be trying to find within yourself? No, it hasn't. If it did, we wouldn't have so many people being insecure about the situation. We wouldn't have people judging things just because they're different. Oh my God, we have a crazy person in the chat. Okay. So, I just kind of think that it's insanity. It really honestly is. Uh, and okay, so to the person that came in here, that racism has literally created brain damage for you, hun. We're not talking about that. You are talking to a witch who is talking about something that goes far beyond anything that you're talking about or what you're thinking about, hon. Okay. All right. If you're not on my level, you can unsub from the channel. Okay. You can unsub from the channel, is what you can do. And it's going to be okay. It's okay for you to unsub. Okay. I'm sure that was that same troll that came back. Your energy was way too toxic. It just felt like, you know, I don't know, almost like you were having an anxiety attack or something. Why? I don't know. If what I talk about gives you anxiety, perhaps you should not watch me. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, the discussion that I was having, and I think I'm gonna save the rest of this discussion for one day when I go live with Jasmine. Uh, because I always love to hear her input. But, I wanted to say this to clients, um, and I know that it's very popular and very common for practitioners to make candles for you to burn on your own and things of that nature. But traditionally, witches that do work for clients, that is something that we deal with, not you. That's something that you don't have to worry about. Okay. That's the reason why we are compensated to do the job that we do. Okay. However, you want to look at it. Okay. So it's something that you primarily don't have to think about. It's something that you don't have to worry about. I know that they want to convince you, well, oh my God, that person's Luciferian, and oh my God, and so and so, and no. And I think that that is probably what that troll didn't want me to be able to reiterate to people. Okay, because they want to convince you that, not taking the left hand path is the best way to do it. And they want to convince you that if you practice, or either you come to us witches, that you should, that you just say a couple of Hail Marys and everything is okay, And I just think that it shouldn't even be a discussion because everybody has choices that they make, don't they? I mean, I said a prayer for Lilith. I think I'm going to go snatch that video real quick. I said a prayer in Lilith's name and got a huge, like, very toxic reaction from somebody who threatened to put me in a body bag because I said that prayer, and they were very upset about it. And I was like, why? And that's where I get very suspicious. You're not trying to save my soul. You're trying to take my soul. And so I'm not trying to turn my clients against their religion because you may have a different thing going. Because let's face it, there's a little witch in everyone, but everybody isn't a witch, right? Hey sis. So that's just what that is. Okay. Now I gotta say this before I go. I'm pretty sure that these people been pigging out all day, but they still hungry. And why not just connect fully with source? I don't know. So, and that's just what that is. And so now it's like an all out war. Why they wage war with only certain people, I have no idea, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. Uh, it, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me if you don't have an understanding of it. Why be judgmental of something that you really don't understand? If you don't understand it, you just don't understand it. And that's okay for you to not understand. But for you to throw negativity, psychic attacks at people and doing all this stuff to people because you don't agree with them, that's disgusting. Talking about people behind their back, wishing death on people. And you do realize that this land is our land, just like it's yours, right? We're sharing it with you. I don't know. All I know is that what I want to reiterate to witches, especially, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can understand this, is that the actual act of them trying to convert us to Christianity is what is the most harmful. That right there, that energy, that aggressive energy that these men, especially, are trying to send to us to force us to convert to Christianity. That right there is where the most harm and the damage is being done. And a lot of the witches that I've been talking to, they've just been like, Jamila, I'm sick of men. Even the male ones, even the male ones are sick of it because they're, to me, because it was so long ago. I feel like we are in new times, not new age. It was so long ago that to me, I feel that it's not relevant in this time anyway. You know what I mean? It's almost like going through this circle over and over again, backwards, though, backwards. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. And that's not going to change. You can't change me just like I can't change you, even though I feel that it's for your own good. Because they get quite upset. They get quite upset when you don't accept the indoctrination of religion. And I think it is all about control. I think it's all about controlling the narrative. And when you have lost sight of even being a human being to where you would want to harm somebody just so that you can have control or prove a point, that's a serious issue. That's a real problem. When you're willing to harm children, wow. You know what I mean? That's pretty bad. And I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm saying stop stalking us. And we do have a group of gang stalkers on here, which I believe that that person that came in here twice was one of them. We do have a group of gang stalkers. It's something that I've noticed that gang stalkers, especially the ones in social media, they have a tendency to try to emulate. And I find it funny how they literally are trying to emulate the witches. You're a gang stalker. And you feel that it's okay for you to gang stalk based upon your Bibles. Okay, based upon you that doctrine. And It's bad. I can tell you that it's bad. And don't blame it on me. I'm going to put it on my mama. I'm going to put it on Hecate. I'm going to put it on Anana. I'm going to put it on Diana. I'm going to put it on Aradia. For real. Okay. Just is what it is. So, if anybody understood that one, but it's really weird and it's strange how these gang stalking religious people are constantly watching. I don't i don't think that I don't know. I can't tell you what your God wants you to do, but I can say this though. I don't think that that's good for you, just like it's not good for anyone else. That's what I will say. Okay. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's in closing, stop trying to make me feel bad for being a witch. Stop trying to make me feel bad for being a pagan slash Satanist. Stop trying to make me feel bad for who I am. Stop. That's just like being a racist or a sexist. That's just like, let's say sexist. We don't want to bring up racism. That's played out and old and tired and done. Okay. Let's say you're a person that's a sexist. You're a sexist male or a misogynist and you treat women like crap, but you don't actually, you know, come straight out and say I hate women. You're still a sexist, you're still a misogynist because your actions are speaking very loudly to how you feel, okay? And so, that right there, as far as like with people that uh you know that have an opinion of witches already, and then when we cross over or when we expand our knowledge base or our wisdom, now you want to do all kinds of attacks, try to disgrace us, rape us, pillage us, try to embarrass us, humiliate us. And you're saying, oh, I'm not doing that because you're a witch. I'm doing this because you made me mad, even though you facilitated the reactions that you got out of us. We know the reason why you're carrying on like that is because you want to try to punish somebody. But in reality, you can't punish somebody. And you found that out throughout the years that your prayers have actually not worked. Like you literally had to lie and make it look like something. So basically, you tried to falsely create this false judgment for the witches, which is false, right? You tried to create this false judgment for witches. Did you not, by making phone calls and bugging the hell out of people and doing all kind of crazy stuff and bringing up all this chaos and actually trying to conjure up these evil spirits that hurt you more than it hurt us, honestly. Yeah. And then you got to understand that once a person has made a pact or a commitment, they're not going to change. It's not like in the movies. There's this one movie that's very entertaining. I love to be entertained by movies about people that are possessed by the devil. In fact, those are some of my favorite movies. And so there was a movie called The Possession of Michael something. And I don't think he was necessarily possessed by the devil or Satan. It was just a dark spirit. And, he ended up doing some crazy stuff. And so it's not like that in real life. You know that, don't you? I've been working with Satan since the end of 2018, and not once have I thought about slitting my wrist or cutting my own throat. Not once. In fact, Satan would probably whip my ass and say, "Girl, have you lost your mind?" He's a huge father figure for me because I am the marginalized. I am marginalized in society, being a witch just by itself. I'm an outcast. I'm unaccepted. I'm damned. I'm misunderstood. I'm thrown out there. I'm ravaged. You know, and I was that to some people even before, even beforehand, before 2018, I was that to them. I was already, a piece of crud to these people. I was already nothing. I was already judged and hated. Okay. So, anyway, that's pretty much it. So, in other words, what I'm saying is that it does not serve any of our clients to be told, well, I'm a witch, but I'm a Christian witch. If I were to lie to you, that would be bad because I'm not a Christian witch and never will I be. Never. Okay. So, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be compromised because of that. And I think that that's a fear that you can let go of. Okay. That's like a red tape or a detail. You know how I always say the devil is in the details. That's a detail that you don't have to worry about. And so a lot of people, here's another thing. The first thing that people think about when I was talking about my pact with Lilith 3 months ago, uh, the first thing people thought about was the children. Oh my God, Lilith is going to hurt the children. Lilith does not hurt children. That is a lie. That's a lie. In fact, even when you read it in the Bible, Lilith does not have a freaking Bible where she's advising people to dash children in their head with rocks. She's not in fact, Lilith is actually very nonviolent, very quiet, dark, sort of seething and soothing type of energy. She's not doing that. Now she will defend her own demon babies, rightfully so. You know what I mean? I ain't never had somebody that worships Lilith or works with Lilith try to do harm to my children. It's always people of the church, it's always people of Christianity. And I'm not trying to bring judgment to y'all. Trust me, I've done that plenty. Trust me. I talk about all the time how y'all attacked my baby and accused him of being the Antichrist. Basically, because I guess y'all didn't realize this was real life. Now, I know my son, the sweetest little boy in the world, an amazing child. He's kind of a smart ass sometimes, but he gets it from his mama. And so it's just like, you know, what does that mean? Okay. So, and I want to say this to clients. If you are talking to a witch and you're talking to her about work that you want done, all workings that you need done don't require the dark side, whatever they call it. It doesn't require that. But if it does, she should disclose that to you. Okay. But it does not serve you if you are talking to a witch that says, oh, don't go to these witches that are worshiping the devil. That should be a red flag to you. That's what I want to say in closing. When they're doing stuff like that, my red flag would be that I'm not actually paying for witchcraft, that I am actually paying for them to pray for me. Witchcraft is not prayer. In fact, you can create an emergency 911 situation where there doesn't need to be. For example, my clients that might be earning 10,000 a year, 20 or 30, they just want an increase in money. Why would I pray for that rather than doing the work to manifest that? What would I need to pray for that for? It's not an emergency. Typically people pray during emergencies. Right? If something happens, it's not the end of the world because you want to earn more money. Okay? And prayer is not the same thing. It's not. So, and that's why a lot of people will come to me and mainly I got this from TikTok. I don't know why. It was very strange. But it was a couple of people, oh, I got scammed. And it's like, well, I really don't want to hear about that. I really don't give a damn if you got scammed. Honestly, I can empathize with you for being scammed, but you should know what to look for if you about the business, if you about getting work done for yourself. Okay. And yes, I am Luciferian, but I still work with unicorns and all of that stuff, symbolism, certain symbolisms for certain things. There's a wide variety of spiritual items and, spiritual sigils and totems and things of that nature that I use. And so that other stuff, what it does is it gives you a lack of clarity. Basically, is what's happening with that. And then even with witchcraft itself, I'm going to be honest with y'all before I go, and I do have to go after this. Witchcraft was such an amazing place to be in when I finally accepted it. And the attacks they ended up having an accumulative effect, which honestly, I'd say the antidote for that would obviously be valerian root because it's good for your nerves and your nervous system as well, because it is very stressful dealing with people that are calling you all these horrible names, Satan's whore and things of that nature. When I don't have that relationship with Satan, Satan would never proposition me for sex. He's a father figure. So what's going on here? Okay. And so that feeling that you get from them when they're like, I've experienced the crowd rush of energy. It is horrific. It's a mixture of hate, fear, confusion. It's horrifying. And I've experienced that on a huge scale. Awful. And I've experienced it over an accumulative amount of time, that of which in between that time, I would do the practices that I knew to do to heal myself. But it was back to back to back to back to back. Verbal abuse, spiritual abuse, hypocrisy. I can't stand Oh, God. Oh, ooh, that's a spirit. Hypocrisy is a spirit, isn't it? Mm, it's a nauseating feeling. You know, when you know that place of witchcraft where you're grounded, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. People that live in glass houses should not throw stones. And I'll see y'all later. Okay, y'all have a good one. Blessings. Bye.